Hold on.
You hear that?
Wait, Chanel on my feet, yeah, that's
Yeah.
on my seats.
Like
I be
low
fucking
enough.
with the beast, like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
Whip
I
up,
hear it.
uppercut this thing. Got your bitch on the edge of her seat. She on that ecstasy, I'm on the beat. Swear the ecstasy, edge of my feet. And usually, I like repetitive beat. I like the way that she move on my meat. Quality bitches, they look good to me. But I fuck the same girl, cause I don't even cheat. That is a lie, I'm repetitive freak. I don't even look, no, I don't even seek. I don't even peek. G5, repetitive G. I'm trying to get out of motherfucking cheese. Bitch, I'm a boss, I'm wherever it be. I've been on tour, I see more. I told them motherfuckers feed me beats. Just like my music, yo, bitch, she gon' leak.
Came out buzzing, 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 came out buzzing. I'm road running, I'm so cunning, high take digit, fat for a button, passport shouted, airport pilot, NASCAR audit, swan time bombing, 2 white bitches, still gon' pick it, flash shit kicking, still toe pitching, young like sleazy, get back with you, step back, hit 'em with the step back switch it. Hey nigga, hoping that it melt like this, shit might triple, shit might missile, shit might hit you, free G Walker, that might Cody, that might nigga, I been stacking for him, really, when he pull up, they gon' end it, he went platinum up in prison, I'm just floating on the river, bleed be early, bleed be gorgeous, bleed be with it, bleed be for it, let me do donuts in your foreign, let me play number 8 while I do it, let me control it, I can control it, eat it with one hand, maybe with nothing, play with my zipper, play with my bubble, that was your sister, that was my summer, came out buzzing, 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 came out buzzing.
Hey, it's your boy, DJ, Mr. Lou. We're again, another Saturday night at Redbird Skate. Make sure you make your way to the snack bar. We got honey buns, hot chips and cheese, Kool-Aid pickles. We got everything. Just make sure you don't eat on the skate floor. I repeat, do not eat on the skate floor. You got time to be slipping on no cheese and cheese.
Yeah. We work to work, you late to work, I holla and they send it. You know my pride was colder in Chicago in December. My bitch came up in Echo where her mama was her daddy. And when I'm in the Midwest, she say holla at your family. My dog paid me that cup, taste like candy. My dog out laying down law, ain't breaking none laws, out serving all the rock. Peace outside, still fucking in the car, still flipping in the car, still shooting at the car. Little hot box, smoking out jar, now I'm fucking on the star, hold up, I got a call. Bitch said that I'm a cool cat, fuck that, tell them bitches I'm a top dog. Get shot, rollin' with them, let the propane outside, bunch of niggas doing donuts. Yeah, got the money in the headlight, big dog, every time we hit the red lights. Just shine, ain't nothing but a good day. Don't die, they ain't teach him how to pump fake. Big shot, I ain't tripping, I don't wanna lose count. Talking my shit, it was just us, bitch. Fuck it up, drive, hop in my ride, pay me that Dutch, bitch. On the west side, on the 110, swinging my nuts, Fuck it, let's grill, fuck it, let's spill, spin a few crumbs. Pop smoke, pop shit, pop bitch, young nigga don't pop too much. Spaceship fake broke, Kanye, young nigga don't stay too long. Big truck, big wheel, big rock, them niggas probably hate my guts. Tryna gain my trust, but it's all out lust. Bitches say that I'm a cool cat, fuck that, tell them bitches I'm a top dog. Get shot, rollin' with them, let the propane outside, bunch of niggas doing donuts. Yeah, got the money in the headlight, big dog, every time we hit the red lights. Just shine, ain't nothing but a good day. Don't die, they teach him how to pump fake. Big shot, bitches say that I'm a cool cat, fuck that, tell them bitches I'm a top dog. Get shot, rollin' with them, let the propane outside, bunch of niggas doing donuts. Yeah, got the money in the headlight, big dog, every time we hit the red lights. Just shine, ain't nothing but a good day. Don't die, they teach him how to pump fake. Big shot.
I'm thugged out, nigga, but I just seen a motherfucking rainbow, nigga. I ain't that motherfucking thugged out, nigga. That shit beautiful than a motherfucker. My baby mama probably at the end of that bitch with her gold digging ass, nigga.
Hey. Cole, you stupid. Bitch. Hey.
Chill pill got me high, but can I lay with y'all? Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. I'm a cold piece of work, whipping up the surf. What was for dessert? I'm a Gucci man, you a Captain Kirk. I don't wanna flirt. Tell me what's the word? Pussy, bitch, you know what's up. Always on the cusp. What's that in your cup? Sipping on this. Yeah, never in a rush. Picking out the slush. Picking out the bus. Pussy big wheel. Got that motherfucker skating home. Chill pill. Got me high, but can I lay with y'all? Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Big wheel. Got that motherfucker skating home. Chill pill. Got me high, but can I lay with y'all? Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl.
What the fuck? Yeah. Triple M be crunk as fuck. Hype as fuck, but don't stop the dust. Do show name hot as fuck. Ain't met one bitch who would not fuck. Fuck as fuck, that pistol tough for pussy niggas acting tough. Fuck a Draco, keep that capital K for range, that's if you run. Fucking bitches, ain't no cuffing bitches like them other niggas. Tough decisions in this rapping business, ain't no band friendly. Old niggas turn to enemies, now I'm seeing plenty. Strictly business, they like Duke tripping, bitch, I need a million. Many people used to sleep up on me, now I'm seeking vengeance. Cold ice and cold hard, bitch, you know we strictly pimping. Tryna keep rapping, these niggas keep capping, these pussy ass rappers keep fucking with me. You hustling backwards, I pull up and rap them. I'm strapped with them triple M brothers with me.
Big Bill got that motherfucker skating home. Chill pill got me high, but can I lay with y'all? Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Big Bill got that motherfucker skating home. Chill pill got me high, but can I lay with y'all? Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl. Last year you was my bitch, now you my baby girl.
Run down the exercise, baby. Keep it 1-1. Play more, let's swing. It's almost like control. Play more, let's swing. It's you. Run down the exercise, baby. Keep it 1-1. Play more, let's swing. It's almost like control. Play more, let's swing.
Let me call up Isha to come over here. Keisha, we about to get so cold. Yeah. Let me call up Peaches, that's my other real Keisha. We about to get cold. Do you wanna play in the backseat part of my ride? Do you wanna live in the fast lane, shorty, all night? Losing myself on my cruising up, crushing up, nice. Crushing up, nice. Break it up, pick up a pace. Losing myself on high. You can control yourself. Over the bag. You done destroyed yourself.
Run down the exercise, baby. Keep it 1-1. Play more, let's swing. It's almost like control. Play more, let's swing. Run down the exercise, baby. Keep it 1-1. Play more, let's swing. It's almost like control. Play more, let's swing.
And be like Tisha, can we take this easy? Ain't no deep dives, trying to find no reason why I gotta be 2 live, be 3 live every time I see you, every time I need you. Got a bag for the low, You scared to death.
Baby, everything get a little better when it's a little loud and raw. On the low, I'm be pulling up on your side, black Uber, they know my car. Looking at me like he must know. Take photos with a telescope. Heard you been running with the lanes, I know. Only go live on Periscope. You know everything literally get a little better when you speak loud and clear. See everything that you doubt and fear. That energy not the loudest. You did literally mindset out it. Smoking OG, baby. Why you playing hardball? I'm just tryna ball hard with you, little baby.
Hey, welcome everyone to the room. This is Isaiah Rashad. I'm just waiting to go through the start. Yes, sir.
Hey y'all. I was gonna have y'all's record first, but it looked like your gang ain't showing up for it. Um, it's all good though. How you feeling?
Good. I just hit them. I don't know. I know Luca's in I don't know how you say this name of the city. Tbilisi. It's in a country called
Tbilisi?
Georgia. Tbilisi.
Yeah,
That's how you say it?
Tbilisi. Yeah.
Tbilisi. Okay. That was the first time I had heard of it, to be honest, when I was talking to him. Um I don't know how many hours they are ahead or behind, but I know when I'm waking up, he going to sleep and vice versa. And then Maruf. Oh, it's 2 a.m. there right now. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. there right
If
now.
he don't pull up, I understand.
Exactly. So that's how I view him. But he still be on it though, man. He still, you know what I'm saying? Like he don't let that really deter him too much. You could tell he's like when he gotta get sleep. He's like, yo, guys, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta tap out. But he be grinding.
So one of my best friends just got married to a dude from Georgia, the country. And so that's the only reason I'm even familiar with Tbilisi as a place. So you got it. You not knowing is a-okay. But
Yeah,
that's
no
okay.
worries. No worries.
Yasser, how you feeling?
She might not be near her phone.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
Hold
So
up. Hey, did somebody call my name?
Yes,
yeah, how are you?
ma'am.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm glad to be in the house. What did you just say? I'm sorry. I was asking my son to find my earphones because he borrowed them before today's room.
We just asked how you're doing. That's it.
Oh man, I'm excellent. I mean, this week has been a very interesting week in Web3 for me, with my NFT, and thanks to you, Black Dave and Visionaire, and so many other people for saving the day on that. I was saying it just felt like one of these epic galactic Star Wars versus Federation experiences for me, and to have a victory philosophically and also financially with selling the Starship NFT was just a huge blessing, especially because that song meant so much to me. So today is a great weekend for like so many different reasons. So thank you for asking me how I'm feeling. I'm feeling awesome.
Very good. It's I our plan is to play Starships today and talk about it. That's cool, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I would love that.
Fantastic. So for everybody who's here now, um, Matt Monday, I need to start calling him Monday. We've been friends for like a decade. We've been working together for pretty much the whole time, and and we really wanted to start like shifting the focus of like the music NFT conversation to be around and about music. So this series called the play that we're doing is pretty much just going to be us playing records from artists in the NFT space and then talking about the song itself, and not in the sense of like, oh, well, like, what do the lyrics mean to you, blah, 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 but like more in the sense of like the sonics and like the way that it came to be, whether like that's like samples or whether that's like different effects and stuff like that. So we really just want to like have like sort of like a bit nerdier of a conversation about music, the music itself, so that we're not sitting on stages all the time just talking about tech. I think the only way that the conversation is going to start shifting to music is when we start talking about music and stop talking about, you know, token gated discords and shit, which is important, don't get me wrong, but like I think the only way to move ahead is to move ahead. So this is like our attempt at that, and I appreciate everybody for showing up. Maroof, you made it. What's up?
Yo, bro, what's going on? Apologies. I was just actually on the phone chatting with my bro, Topaz Jones, real quick, an amazing artist based out of New Jersey. Um, Trying to get him, on his NFT shit, really to tap in. But I'm happy that you out this room. I'm happy to be here, man.
Nah, man, I'm glad to do this. Um, Matt or Monday, is it okay if we start with their record? I know Maroof's got a joint with Mellow X at 6, so I want to make sure that I get them out the way in case
Yeah,
we
yeah,
run over.
absolutely. Absolutely. Cue
Um,
that up.
I appreciate it. Before we play, y'all want to like, so we're gonna play Dubai Way, obviously. I don't expect Luca to show up, of course, but because it's mad late. But can you guys like tell us a little about the song, how it came together, and then we'll play it and we'll just start like talking about like the record itself, if y'all don't mind.
Yeah,
Alan,
for
you can
sure.
take that. I like how you break it down.
All right, cool. So we met in a room. In the room, we were all in there. So yeah, me, you, Black Day, me, Maru, Black Day, Luca, and I was dropping my additions for the Reasons music video at class, and we're just talking about how important it was to collaborate and um, how you could benefit just doing that so much right now, right? And then so afterwards, Luca's like, "Hey, we already spoken to him about possibly collaborating." And he was like, "Hey, I think right now's the time." You know what I'm saying? We was all talking about it. I think we just need to go ahead. I was like, "All right, send it through. I'm gonna send something back." So he sent through 3 ideas, and they were all synth melodic ideas. So they didn't have drums or anything on them yet. And then I recorded my part. He had some like vocal tracks on them, and but it was just like freestyle all the way through. So like I just cut it up and arranged it. So like the Dubai way, I like just cut. I was like, this right here got to come back. Like we got to run this back because he only said it one time in the recording that he sent me, right? So I was like, oh, we got to run that back. That's fly, right? And
That's
then
awesome.
I said it in the verse. So he said it first. Lucas said it first, and then I said it on my part, and then sent it back to him. And he was like, "Oh shit, Dubai way." And he was like, "We gotta send this to Maroof ASAP." We sent it to Maroof, and then Maroof bodied it, sent it back, and yeah. And then after that, Luca pretty much did the mix the vocals on this one, and like I did like the first half of the drums, and then he did like the second half. So I did like a first layer, and then he like beefed it up, and, like added like the 808s and everything, and made it sound like epic. And he was pretty adamant about being like hands on with. He's like, I would really like to mix this. He didn't even let nobody else. You know, he's like, I would really like to mix this one if possible.
He
And
didn't
it's like,
want, yo, he didn't want nobody else to
he
touch
did it.
that.
He did it. He
Respect it.
really didn't
I
want anyone else
respect
to
it.
touch it. Like he was like,
So
nah, nah. You know. So I usually like to mix my own stuff, but I had already been listening to his music when I found him on Web3. So it was like he was one of the first musicians that I had like their songs on repeat in Web3, right? Like just playing it back to back in the whip. So I already liked how he mixed his music. So for me, it was just like, all right, cool. Like, I trust it. You know what I'm saying? So it was an easy, it was easy, man. Yeah, it was quick, it was easy, and we did the artwork all together too. Just shot the Photoshop file, back and forth.
yeah, I like this
Uh,
artwork. This artwork is fire.
I feel
Thank you.
like
Go ahead, Maru.
I was just gonna add. What I love about it most of the creative process is like it literally like to keep it a rack with you. It took us like 3 days to like do the shit. You know what I mean? Like Luca sent Alan a beat. Alan bodied it. Then sent it to me. I did a demo on my car. Then went to Matt Cody's. Then sent it back, and it was just so quick, and like everything happened like literally. It got sold literally in a week span, and it was just like, damn, the power of spaces is real as fuck.
a um we gotta find Matt and bring Matt up because I definitely want to talk about nerdy recording shit with him. So
Yeah, definitely. I do have a question for them though.
Got it.
Was there ever a point where y'all had any type of extensive conversation about the song? Because based on what y'all said, it was a lot of back and forth. But was there anything as far as about the concept Alan could kind of create it? Was there any extensive conversations y'all had? Y'all just went and did it.
I think we just kind of did it. It was just like the idea. Once they kind of sent the song like Dubai Way, and I asked a question in the group chat. I was like, so this kind of like, are you like, so we in Dubai bossing up? That's like the vibe. It was like, yep.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, say no more.
That's dope. That's dope. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Oh, go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that was literally the only question. Like there was no other real questions about like, you know, what should the concept be? What should, like, literally that was the only question. Maruf was like, so this just, you know, just we in Dubai bossing up. I was like, yeah.
That's
He was
dope.
like, bet. You know what I'm saying? And then just hit the first
That's
back.
dope.
Yeah.
I bet. Dave, I want me to go ahead and play it or?
Yeah, play it because
right
Alan about to keep giving us sauce that we need to hear in order for it to make sense. So let's run it first.
I bet. Let me reset catalog.
Shout out to Catalog Works though.
DC, I got me some real good karma. So can't nobody pierce my humor. Mind over matter. Give me a bottle, I need a cold out the cellar. And it been laying there for a very long time. Can't be alone, I'd rather drink it together. Pull up and show me a very good time. Seen a lot, but it don't worry. Turn this bitch to an emergency. It's a hush hush in a memory. Fuck them kind words of encouragement. Dubai way, I do want my money. It's your fucking time now, ain't that what they all say? Who got me? Thought I had nobody. Angels all around me when it all went wrong. We just don't know when we go too far. We just don't know when we go too far. We run around and we maneuver. Wherever we go, it's never too far.
Wanna think who got me, cause I know God got me. Can't fuck with my ease, can't fuck with my peace of mind. Wanna think who got me, cause I know God got me. Can't fuck with my ease, can't fuck with my peace of mind. Dubai, where the gold is inside, man. My linen the nicest to cover my scars. Was frightened, but then I kept fighting. That's what I take pride in. I turned to a bar. Was tempted to quit shit, but then I went online and meant it. Got a couple cribs, then flipped it. Windows already been tinted. Talk about the game, almost passed on it. Felt like somebody rigged it. Everybody said I was free, but the top just shiny handcuffs and gold fences. Instances made me question my worth. I was listening to the wrong niggas first. Black strong nigga, King Kong standing on my purpose. Couple vulnerable thoughts under this peanut butter surface.
Dubai way, I do want my money. It's your fucking time now, ain't that what they all say? Who got me? Thought I had nobody. Angels all around me when it all went wrong. We just don't know when we go too far. We just don't know when we go too far. We run around and we maneuver. Wherever we go, it's never too far.
They say they love my catalog, so I threw the shit up on catalog. Last week you a chatter on, and the next week you a tag along. Chain heavy like a star. So many times I swallow pride. I kept a G, I can't lie. I'm feeling blessed, so sanctified. Like woo, why the hell they try to treat us like we amateurs? They said I'm winning, well I told them got my manager. Yes, it's funny how you think they brosy, but you just a leech. It's beautiful to rock a show and just get paid to eat. Flow coated in Minnesota. Alec told me, yo, muy great. Luca got me cooling overseas. We house shopping doing real estate. Another story that was never told. Planting seeds, but we share the codes. Probably chilling out of Yugoslavia. We hit Dubai at the Abu Dhabi like,
Dubai way, I do my money. It's your fucking time now. Ain't that what they all say? Who got me? Thought I had nobody. Angels all around me when it all went wrong. We just don't know when we go too far. We just don't know when we go too far. We run around and we maneuver. Wherever we go, it's never too far.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's Dubai Way with Luca, Maxim, Mo Roof, and Allen Kingdom, man. That record is crazy. That record is crazy. What did what mics did you use, Allen and Mo Roof? Just out of curiosity.
I use a AKG C414.
Okay, dope.
Hey,
Yeah, I was about to say, Dave, you should. Dope, dope.
we were
And,
fighting
and
over it. Go
and
ahead,
to
go ahead.
keep it a buck, I use the Snowball USB mic.
Oh, damn.
It's kind of crazy. That's like literally my home mic personally, like because I'm rebuilding my studio, and I literally just brought the vocals over the mat, and he blessed his hands.
Dope. Like,
So
I
you
got a real clean
recorded it
sound.
off the Snowball? You recorded it off the Snowball, took it to Matt,
Yeah.
who just entered the room. I'm bringing him up. We got to talk.
Well, I took it to Matt. Matt, did I re-record it? I'm not. I think I re-recorded it, but I remember I brought it to Matt though. I brought it to Matt.
Yeah,
Mm.
What's up?
What's up, man?
I knew I was missing out. I planned on coming in here, but I'm in the session, so I had to walk upstairs.
Oh, listen, we got one question for you.
Let's get it.
Did Maroof come to you with the Snowball mic recording, and you made it sound good for us?
Um, he re-recorded it. He re-recorded his verse, right? Because
I'm trying to remember. I think I probably did, but I know we had the Snowball vocals, and oh yeah, we had the Snowball vocals. You tried to massage it, it sounded good. But you was like, nah, let's tap in again. I remember that, and you pushed me to record it the second time.
yeah, because you know what? When he does that melodic stuff, I just like to be in a little bit more control. You know what I'm saying? Like get the
Mm.
get the best cadence, get the best breath control, get the best everything. So yeah, we spent just a little bit of time on it, and it came out hot. He already had it memorized, and everything was lit.
What kind of mic you run over there?
I got a Sound Deluxe, and it was just gifted to me, so I can't even tell you the like model number. But as far as it compares with Neumann U87 and things like that.
I was gonna say that's the comparisons I've heard about it is the 87.
Yeah. So when you say Neumann, it's like it's like you riding a Mercedes. When most people hear it in their mind. So I know when you hear Sound Deluxe, you're probably like, is this nigga riding a Kia? But from my experience, it's definitely up there.
I have a question for Matt. We kind of spoke about this before you got in the room, but um, they expressed how you didn't want anybody else to touch it, and I wanted to ask, like, what is your approach when you walk into the mix? Like, what are the first things that you want to kind of attack?
Wait, who doesn't want? I'm cool with
That
people
was
doing their
Luca. That
thing.
was
Oh, that
Luca.
was Luca. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I had
Okay.
the wrong person.
No, I mean,
But it's still the same question I have for you, just about approaching mixes.
well, I guess it just depends on that thing, like how much I'm able to do. You know what I mean? Like if I'm working with a 2-track and stuff like that, and they got it maxed out with a limiter and stuff. I'm gonna start off with the whole thing down like 10 dB, just so I have headroom for the vocals or whatever we're gonna do next. So you know what I mean? And then just a good template. Like I want to make sure there's a nice ambiance around his vocals, so he start. It's really like a trust thing. Like if I got him sounding good within the first couple seconds, first couple minutes, then he's like, okay, I can do whatever, and we good.
Dope.
Span, I see you came up. You got a question? No worries. I'll keep going. Um, Alan, I know like before we played the record, you were talking about sort of how you were in control of structuring the hook and structuring the record. Um, how much of it did you do? So when you were piecing it together, did you take the whole Luca vocal pat like set up and like set up all the verses and all that, or did Luca come to you after, or did Luca come afterward? Like, all right, cool, let's open up another 16 for Moo.
I just arranged my part and Luca's part. So from where it starts to the end of the second hook, right? And then he just stretched it out and then had Mo come in. And then even like the background vocals during my verse that are playing, like I placed those there pretty much. And then he rocked with it. He rocked with the placement. If anything, yeah, I think most of the production after Moose sent his part back was like mixing and adding instruments. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't so much like rearranging anything. It was like everything was like pretty much there. It was just like stretching the beat out, adding drums, all that stuff. Like the production behind it more so.
I love it. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm almost done with all my
Yep.
questions. What
I
you
got
got,
a
Matt?
I got a question. My
Yeah, I
fault.
got two more. Go ahead, Matt.
Yo, Alan, like from what I heard of the original, I don't even know how many versions there were, but it had a whole different pattern. It had a whole different pocket. So, like, what inspired you to kind of take it to the place where it's at now, the final place with the drums? I think you're the ones who did the drums, right? Am I not
No, no,
mistaken?
no. Luca did the drums, so it had a different pocket, and me and Luca went back and forth on that too. I was like, because he slid it over a little bit. Like everything was in the same place, but like he slid it over, like I think a quarter note or like an eighth note, right? And I wanted him to like swing behind the beat, but he wanted to be on beat. But now I actually like his version better. But just at the time, it was like he was like, I feel like that sounds offbeat. And I was like, well, I feel like yours sounds offbeat. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, it's your part. You know what I'm saying? So if you know what I'm saying, hear it that way, I don't want you to, it's your part. Like, it's not my part of the song. You know what I'm saying? It's your voice. So,
Right.
um, yeah, so I just gave him control of that after that. I would say most of the stuff I did on it was just record my voice and arrange a song. Like I would say the production, like most of the actual building up the production and all of that was him.
Right. No, it definitely came. It got to be a fuller sound and everything. I mean, I don't actually listen to the original version, but from what I hear now, it's like much fuller than I remember it being.
And
Y'all
it's
Yeah,
still
clean
yeah.
there?
too. It's very clean. Good mix, good master, everything. Like super clean.
Yeah, he snapped on that for sure. He snapped on that when he said, when he asked, it was like, "Hey, do you mind if I mix this?" I knew he really wanted to, so I was like, usually when someone really wants to do something, and they're already dope, like they're gonna do it really well. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I like to work with
True.
people who really want to do it. Like that's the thing
Facts.
that makes me want to work with someone in any capacity, whether it's business, whether it's like music. Like I want to be excited with working with someone, and I want them to be excited with working with me. You know what I'm saying? Because that energy just like vibrates off of each other, right?
True.
Like that's the number one thing. And I guess sometimes, like even if I look at like the course of my career, like certain people I could have signed with, like outside of Kanye, just other artists and stuff like that, like they might have been like big artists, but I just didn't feel like they were that excited about me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would look at a deal or something like that and be like, okay, this deal is it's not terrible, but it's just like I want the people around me to be excited, and I want to be because it's just it vibrates off each other. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you just do way greater things when things are like that. So that's like I would say the number one thing that was really cool about this process.
It's real shit.
Hell yeah.
That's real
And
shit.
I just wanted to add, I think the excitement, like Alan said, and just it was a learning process. Actually, like Alan just be like, you know what, Luca, you right, like, and just allowing the artists, allowing other artists to like just trust in other artists that you're building with. I think that's one of the most important things. Like, just rather than maybe you do it a certain way, but like, nah, like trusting that artist. And like what it could do for the song. Now I'm listening to it like, oh shit, Luca was right the whole time. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that's the best part in generating of like just collaborating, because we learned from each other the whole time, which I think was the tightest part.
Yeah, how y'all went off at the end was the beautiful, surprising part for me, because I think it was just like Luca was playing with these things like puzzle pieces at that point. I don't know if you each heard each other's melodic like solos at that time, but if he was working with it and no one else heard it, just when I heard it finished, it was like, yo, that thing is dope, man. You know what I'm saying? It climaxed. Pause.
Hey, what was the order of the verses, just for those who may not know?
So Luca's vocals coming first on more of the singing part, and then I come in after, and then the hook comes back in again with Luca, and then Maruf, and then we have like I'll have like a duet at the end. We just serenade the listener.
And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
dope.
gonna
That third one was crazy.
I'm not gonna
They
hold
all look
you.
crazy, but
I remember when like I heard Alan, you had like a pre-hook, like because you said Dubai. So I was like, fuck it. Like the first version, I attempted to do that. Then I'm like, no, I'm just hitting niggas with bars. And I think it just rounded up. And I like how at the end, kind of like the one time now. Then like you came in and it was like, oh, this shit crazy. Then the Luca Volks on the bottom. It was just like, damn, this shit was perfect.
You know what? Anybody else have questions? Please come up. This is not like a private show. We want to have a conversation around the records, but I'm all done with questions. I don't know if you have anything to add, Yaz, or any thoughts or anything like that.
No, I just think the track is fire, and hearing about the process is always really dope to me. Lots of people already asked my question, like, "What did you record on?" That's always really interesting to me because it's all about the sound.
What did you record on is like Matt and I, Monday and I, we'll hear a song and be like, what was this on? And then we'll like try to figure it out. So, oh, it's a C800. Oh, it's a 87. Oh, it's a whatever, right? And so
Right.
we also get excited about that. So I'm like, that's why doing this is exciting for me as well as for Monday, is because like we're the type of people who have these conversations. And like now, like since we're all in Web3, like not let's stop talking about the tech, but like let's start talking about the music. And I'm just pumped.
Exactly. The process is where the gold is for me. I remember reading liner notes about how Marvin Gaye loves to sing his oohs, and he would use these particular consonants to get the perfect ooh. Like this is what these conversations are about, like where the art comes from. And I think we've kind of lost that. At the same time, we lost liner notes. So I'm just really happy and appreciating this conversation we're having right now.
And liner notes get to make a return in Web3. I'm with it.
I know. I'm so excited.
What up, Matt?
Yo, I was gonna say I actually got a shake. I got a session right now, but Dave, hearing that it gets kind of nerdy with the gear and this and that, we got to work for sure, bro. And Yazara, we didn't link up the other time, so we got to work. Cause everybody in this goddamn
Whenever
chat,
you're
we
ready,
got to
man.
work. Let's get it.
oh,
I
We lit.
appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
man.
All right, peace.
All right, man, take it easy.
later.
I guess maybe we should use this as like a quick little reset, and then we can run your record Monday if that's cool, and then we'll close it out with Yazra's and talk about hers after.
Yeah, we got to close with Yazra because I really
Okay.
like this record.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So I guess I don't know what song you're gonna play, so go ahead.
Nah, no song. No song. We can go reset. We can go straight to cause I know they gotta go to the room next.
No, that was Maroof. Yazra's good.
Oh, okay.
No, I was saying for your song, you're gonna play one of your songs, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I just don't know which one you're gonna play, so I can't introduce it. You gotta introduce it.
All right. Yeah, let me cue it up. I had Yazra queued up.
Black, are you an engineer?
I dabble, but this record I've actually Matt's Monday's last project I mixed, but I do it all. I do what I need to do. You know,
You recorded and mixed.
I did that. Oh, that was and Candy Paint. Oh God, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play a record called Lens. V played it before in the room. And it was originally off a project called Lie to Me. So I'm gonna let this run and then we can talk about it afterwards.
Hey, hey, in Sunday school, I used to walk past the usher as I would play confessions. I learned my lessons. When they count me out, I count my blessings. I'm from a place where the trees, palmetto, moons, crescent, hustlers run them out through hell, hoping they reach a heaven. It's never pleasant when broken hearts becoming the weapons. Women only want what they are destined. Maybe I'm just guessing. She told me I'm falling apart, trying to keep it together. Focused on with time when much better. Memories feel like treasure. Even if you leave tomorrow, tell me it's gonna last forever. She said, be different from my last man, do me better. You know we go back like summer camp in Coogee sweaters. Even if the love don't last, appreciate the effort coming from females. Addicted to retail, throwing you off track, baby, don't let them derail. Sift through the details of unreplied emails. Even when they try to hold you down, baby, prevail. Like I need you next to me, right now especially. I'm trying to feed that broken soul and you got that recipe. I'm trying to give you all I have, so why you suppressing me? Kiss on your temple before I yell open sesame. Fucking you aggressively, now you got the best of me. It's war between the sheets before we sleep and then we rest in peace. The feeling is not deceased, fulfilling to say the least. We both needed that relief, conversating then repeat. Monday.
Yeah, that was Lens. That's on catalog off an EP called Some Slight. Yeah, it's my first catalog release, but it's four of them. But I just wanted to play one. I kind of want to hear music from like Allen and Maroof and Yazra. But yeah,
So I know most of these answers, but I wanna talk about it. Tell the streets what mic you recorded that one on.
the streets. We recorded on an 87. Um, and then we ran it through a couple of things. We ran it through a tube tech. I think we did one take through an Avalon, and then we ran it through a tube tech just to kind of get a little more warmth on the vocals. Um, but yeah, it was 87.
I
87
love the
Avalon.
Avalon, man.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of can't beat that classic sound, like that's just the classic, you know, just the sound. So that's one of my go-tos, but I've been enjoying the tube tech since I got introduced to it. And there's another one made by UA that I think Dave just told me about that I heard vocals from that sounds really good too. I can't remember what model that was, Dave.
I'm not gonna be able to tell you, but I'm gonna remember as soon as this room ends. I'm gonna be
But
like,
yeah, I
damn.
heard some vocals from it. Yeah.
Um, okay, so um, I guess a couple of things I want to ask. Can you talk about how you select beats that you don't produce yourself?
Um, I kind of look for the pocket, kind of like I think Maruf said it, kind of like when you had to go back and record. But I mean I kind of look for the pocket, man, like something I can kind of float in. And depends on like if I'm storytelling, then that's kind of one certain BPM I would want or a certain cadence I would want versus if it's like a traditional song where it's hook verse hook. Um, it just depends on how I'm approaching the song in general as to what beats I pick.
For everybody else in here, I don't know if y'all have heard Monday's music before, but if y'all have any questions, comments, I'm ready.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask a quick question. When you were recording, are you a one taker? Like, how many versions of this song existed before you had your final take?
Uh, I do one takes, but well, actually, I do one takes and I do punch-ins. It depends on because I like to switch up my cadence every 4 or every 8. I might switch my cadence up, and it depends on what I'm switching to. But for the most part, I try to go straight through to kind of stay in that one stream of emotion. I think sometimes for me personally, if if I break it up, I don't want to break the stream of emotion I kind of was recording in, if that makes sense.
No, I get it totally. Like sometimes, your first take is your best initial foundation, and then playing around with your best versions of it and the best phrases are everything. So yeah, thanks. Dope.
Are you a one taker, Yasha?
Sometimes there are a couple of songs that I've written where like I just freestyled it from beginning to end, and it was the take. Like I'll
I
do
like that.
5 of them, but that first take was the take. That was the story. That was what needed to be said.
I like that.
I've had a lot of sessions like on the engineering side. That's exactly like that, where someone will come in, they'll record first take. I'm like, this is good, and then they're like, nah, 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 and they're like, delete that. Let's do whatever. I never fucking delete it because the first take is normally the take, and then they'll record a bunch of takes, or they'll take it, come back, and be like, I want to try it again, and then it's still the first take. So I think like
You
you're
talking about
spot
me?
on, Monday. I'm not talking about there's lots of people, but I guess you've also done it. But yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Maroof, you got your hand up. What's up?
I was gonna ask Maroof and Allen I
Not,
wanted to ask this when we play their song, how they approach
I,
the verses.
I was gonna say sometimes because I was so excited. Usually if I hear a beat, I like to record it then and there because I just like to go off my initial energy feeling. So as soon as I heard the beat in my car, like dead ass, I had my mic and my laptop with me, so I said fuck it. So I just laid it down, and the reason why I wasn't so gun ho to re-record because I just sometimes you can't recapture energy, inflections, and shit like that. That's like the most important thing. But
Mhm.
shout out to Matt, he brought that shit out. But something I was gonna say about the track you just played Monday, I fuck with it because it was like an in and out John, and I'm like a fan of like in and outs, like from being a fan of Slum, and just like how they could paint a picture
Mm.
in damn near like a minute 30 seconds,
He
but it
talking.
could feel like so like damn they caught that, and somebody who's like because even like when I'm listening it's like it was a hook but it was like smoothly in there. It wasn't like everybody this is the hook, and I think someone who does a good job at it, whether like niggas like him or not, like the baby, um he just like the way he like his verse will flow into the hook so quick, and it's like oh shit, like that's kind of crazy. But yeah man, I definitely fuck with the track that you just played, bro, for sure.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Allen, how do you go about your verses? About constructing them?
It depends. It depends. Like sometimes it's just like all the way through. And then other times it's like I just kind of fill it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like just fill it out as I go. There's been a lot of times where I record and kind of just freestyle, but then like pieces of that freestyle piece together end up just having like the craziest emotion. So it's really all over the place. And then, but once I get like the main vocal down, then I add like a lot of harmonies and layers. Usually add like falsettos in there to like really accentuate like certain things I'm trying to say, or like certain things I want people to hear. So I focus a lot on like not only the words but like exactly how I'm gonna say them, and like the tone I'm gonna say them in, because I feel like when you say them a certain way, it just simple words said a certain way make you think about so many detailed concepts sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that like when I write. But yeah, the song was real dope. I like how it's just like you just listen to it all the way through, like Maroof was saying.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the whole EP's like that. I just do like it's like 4 in and out. Because sometimes I just like telling a story straight through, or like writing poetry and applying it to something musically. So yeah, I mean, I think there's just so many different ways to create a song that if we subscribe to just one, it's like I don't know. I sometimes don't feel challenged artistically. So, but I
And
appreciate it.
I love how you still made the art of seduction sound like hip hop. So that's pretty dope.
Appreciate it. Thank
We got Hail Supreme up here. What's up?
Peace. What's up, everybody? It's Haile Supreme. Shout out
Holly,
to
my apologies.
No, you good, bro. It's all good. It's all love. Shout outs to Allen and TJ and Topaz Jones in the crowd. What's up, y'all? Um, actually, earlier, Allen, you was talking about like how you record and mix. It's funny when we lived at Tangerine, you made this one stock like vocal chain in Ableton that I still use to this day. So shout out to you, bro. Um, I've been recording a lot lately, and I think it was Kamal that I was watching, but Kamal actually, my homie Kamal was an amazing artist. he takes the condenser mic off of the stand and holds it as if he was performing, and that's something that I've been doing lately. And I feel like the vocal takes tend to be a lot more intimate. But I'm just curious to ask y'all, like, do y'all when y'all are tracking, do you usually hear yourself? Do you keep the monitor on? Do you take it off? Like for the longest time, I've taken one earphone off so I could hear myself in real time and then hear myself in Ableton. But what do y'all usually do? I'm just curious when you're
That's low
recording.
key. That's low key a good ass question too, because I have to take one ear off.
Yeah.
I keep both ears on and I listen to myself. Um, my actual trick when recording is to do a once through and then record while listening to my first take, and then I keep my second take.
Fire.
Yeah, my style is actually a lot like Dave's. From time to time, especially if I'm laying background vocals, like I like to hear the last one I did. It's important to me sometimes to almost match them perfectly. Then sometimes I want to be a little more choir sounding, like I want my voices to sound like different voices. And that may require me to keep both cans on, but then sometimes I got to take them off so that I can really feel what I'm singing, especially because I have a lot of power. And occasionally I have to make sure that I'm being responsible for the amount of, let's say, color I'm using when I'm recording, because I can peak out depending. And that has to do with phrasing. And also, I think what's really been a blessing to me in studio settings is that I'm a trained singer. So I've learned how to use my mechanism a specific way to kind of deal with wherever I'm at. Like sometimes each studio is not going, all studios are not the same. You know, you're not always going to have a Norman. Sometimes somebody's going to hand you a Shure mic, and that's going to sound like the most amazing take you've ever done. And you have to apply your voice differently to get the most perfect sound.
Gem. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
I was
Anytime
just
Yasser
gonna
comes on
add to.
stage,
I was just my fault.
you got it. Go ahead.
Please give the flowers to Yaz, bro. Please, please, please give that.
Nah, one of my favorite things to do when Yasser is in the building is to tell people to do their Googles, just to like, because sometimes like it's really hard to like. There are people who talk and you're like, damn, this nigga is like pretentious as fuck. But like when you really look up Yazra and see like her career and you see like all the stuff that she's done, it's like the way that she speaks, you're like, yo, this is like a real professional like singer, musician. Like don't I just need y'all to like just open up a Safari window. If you got an Android phone, why are you in here? But like open up your Safari and go ahead and just type the name in and you'll just see an idea. And I feel like that's just so important to have context to like the depth of Yazer's career. Sorry, Maruf, go ahead.
Nah, it's all love. The flowers are definitely necessary. I could second that. I'm grateful to be on stage with just dope ass motherfucker, dope ass people. So
Oh, I
I could
love
agree
you.
on that. Nah, all love. But I was recording with my bro, shout out to my bro Nathan Bahar, and I used to record like just demos at his crib. And I started like holding the mic, and shout out to Kamal too. I'm very familiar with amazing artists. So for me, sometimes holding the mic does work when I'm doing my demos at the crib. But when I probably bring it over to Matt and try to, do it over. But I definitely feel like when I do that, I feel more like a performer when I'm recording, and it just gives me that vibe. So it works for me for sure.
I was talking yesterday in a space in the Saturday space that I do with Natalie about like how important like how you feel like or like the mood that you're trying to create is in like certain recording situations. Like it's when I played in a band, especially like making sure that you hit a lot of notes was really like hit the right notes. Like I played bass and just making sure that you hit everything at the right time, at the right timbre, blah, blah, blah was like really important. But then when I shifted over to like making rap music more and when I shifted into hardcore from like punk and pop, it actually became almost a bit better to be like as much in whatever zone you're in as possible. And so I think it's always interesting how important it is to create a scenario. I was talking about how rappers will like go in the booth with their chains on because it makes them feel rich. Like, I mean, and stuff like that like makes a big difference in a lot of people's performances. So I'm with you on that. Like I get nervous to hold a mic because I feel like I'm gonna move my head too far to the side. I'm gonna do something crazy, and I'm like, man, I just wasted this take. But I could totally like catch that on the
I
energy.
kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. Like recording it in a performative manner. I think that shit's dope.
Definitely. I have a little story. I was recording a song that I did called Tired of Watching, and I was recording it with this gentleman named Soul Messiah, and he's the guy that's behind TLC's Creep. Um, some really amazing songs of like the 90s, and crazy producer, produced a lot of hip hop as well. And he was like, you need to relax and sing this love. You can't sing a love song on your feet right now. So he said, well, the way he recorded Creep is that Red Light Special, he made them lay down on the floor and he turned all the lights down. So he had me lay down on the floor, lit a bunch of candles, turned all the lights down. So I could feel like I would in the presence of a lover, and I could sing with that same ease. I just think it's, some people need a little innocence. Some people need a little things that feel like home. Sometimes I literally bring things I have on my altar that give me like low key peace just to be able to sing with the ease and the comfort I want to in certain settings. I think that's the magic of like, telling these stories about how things are created is so much bigger sometimes than even the microphone you're using. It's almost the emotional scenario that you're creating to make the magic happen of these songs.
You got it, Alan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's definitely true. Your environment is what makes the music good. Um, like I've noticed sometimes, like when I'm sitting down, it depends on the song, right? But I notice when I'm sitting down, I'm not in the pocket, right? Like, but when I stand up and I'm in a performance mode, it's just like my swing is just so much more better when I'm like
Hey,
recording with my whole body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just I can hear it. Like, it genuinely makes a difference for me when I'm standing up. But I move around a lot, like just in general, like pretty active. So I think that's why. And then there's certain songs that I record sitting down, right? Like Dubai Way, right? The vibe is more of I was just chilling, right? And you can so it just depends on like the vibe of this, the feeling of the song, and like what I'm trying to get across. That depends on like if I sit down or stand up or whatever.
I love it. I love it. Guido Corleone, what's up, fam? How you feeling?
What's up, Black Dave? What's good, man? I'm wonderful here over in occupied Tongva Chumash land in LA. I love this conversation because this is obviously a bunch of people who have recorded quite a bit, and you find your groove exactly how you and after years of recording, like the headphone on, off, all those tricks. I feel like I never kind of quite get the energy of a take that I do in the demo. Like the first time I spit it, it's usually just raw. The energy is just there. It's what I want in the track. But I don't usually have like the articulation and the formulation of how I want the words to land in the track. So I find myself going back to match that energy, and it's really difficult, most of the time. So I started doing the first takes and demos as almost like a throwaway, like, all right, I'm not going to put that much into it. And I find that somehow in that, though, I'll still find a way to get the energy I want in that take. So I don't know. It's usually a balance there of either those first takes, something after where I can really lock into what the energy was, and then work on articulating each word or how I want a punchline to land, or whatever it is. But it's a challenge.
What's up, Mo? You got it.
I was gonna say I hold that same exact sentiment, bro. And it's like for me, it's like the demo is like me getting a skeleton off. Like it's a skeleton. It might be a lung. You know what I'm saying? It might be an organ, but like when I go back and actually write it and like fill it in, that's when I like. That's usually how I do it. Like it might not be no words in that bitch, but it's gonna be a bunch of like flows, ways to approach it, and like dope ass bars, but it might be slurred. But the demo usually is like it has become a great foundation for me to like write, because I do still write, but I do notice when I write sometimes I overthink it a little bit. And usually when I just want to get like a feeling off, just that freestyle energy, that's kind of what I go off. It's been helpful for me.
I love it. I just got a SM7B, one of those Sures. So I'm gonna try what I think Haile said about holding it, because I'm way more of like a performer. Like I love the energy when I'm on stage holding a mic, and sometimes it's, for me, it's difficult to channel that through the booth. I got a Rode NTK that I've been using for a while, but I'm looking forward to playing with that, because I know I've cut demos before with the SM58 that I love the energy of it, but it's not like recording quality ready, and it's got all kinds of noise. So I'm looking forward to playing with that SM7B, which I think that's probably the mic you're talking about. I have a feeling. I'm not sure.
You know,
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Dave. My bad.
I was gonna say, a lot of artists recording a 7B. Like, you'll see a lot of Jay-Z, Kanye records like recording on the 7B. I think Watch the Throne might have been recorded a lot on a 7B. And you'll see people using those mics too,
Yeah,
like
it was.
in open rooms and shit. Like, it's really crazy, like the versatility of a 7B. So I'm pumped for you.
I have a
Thanks.
question.
Oh, Monday,
I'm
real
sorry.
quick. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I low key, I really want to get the SM7. You know what I mean? The OG mic that MJ used. They're going for about $900 now. So I picked this one up. If I'm digging it, I might upgrade to that one. But go ahead, Monday.
So I wanted to ask, based on how y'all feel about the demos, you think it's because of do you find greater confidence in recording or performing the verse once you know it well enough? Is that kind of like the approach that you're talking about? You and Maru? Because I know some
Yeah.
people who will like just read it straight off the phone and that's the verse, which is nothing's wrong with that. Performance
Nah,
is the performance.
but
Um,
something that I noticed that I learned is like I like, sometimes I like to write a verse and live with it for a little bit. Like sometimes I dead as live with the written verse for like a week or sometimes a month. So because I
yep,
just
me
want to
too.
like be able to like maneuver it, like it's like I'm not reading it. I want to like, so I can like bend a word, and it's just like, damn, like it just feels that much more natural. And also some songs it might be it might dead ass just be a freestyle. So all depends on like my energy and the overall approach of my recording.
Yeah, I feel like once I track it, I have it memorized more or less. And once I have it memorized, I know how to freak it and move with it, and it comes out a lot more natural, and it just flows. And then like the irony is like, you record it. I mean, not so much these days. But go like tour a record, then I really have the track down, and it's like, wow, it'd be great to record the track from that place, but that's not really how records are made, and that's not really how touring goes. But at that point, like the track is like it's like a relative, it's like an old friend. But yeah, once I get it down in tracking it, I like to come back and I can definitely spit it or recite it a lot more naturally and with ease.
Oh,
Yazra and then Alan, you got it.
Yeah, to dovetail on that, I feel exactly the same. Either sometimes a song is like a river or a slow trickle, in that, either a verse comes flowing out of you and you finish the song in a day, or sometimes even your opinion about that thing you're writing changes over time and you got to go back and rewrite it because you're not the same person, or you want to just say something different. I had a couple of songs on my last release where it like literally, since I had time, and it took me like 10 years to release my last project between 2010 and last year. I rewrote one of my songs like 5 times. And it wasn't because I couldn't write it the last time, it was because I just wanted to say something different. And I think that that's a powerful thing. Some people wanted to go with that first take, and that first take ain't the take. And then you drop something that you feel horrible about when it's out there in the world. I always like to say to people, like, don't be afraid to say that wasn't my best take, and you got a better one in you, and just do that.
yeah, those are the
I think
gems.
I think that's true. Like, and one thing that happens with me, especially when I'm recording like a body of work, is through the process you start to discover these things about how you're making your music that you want to incorporate into the previous thing. So then you got to go back and be like, nah, I got to add this thing to that thing. And so I absolutely agree. Alan, you got it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's crazy because I've also heard of people taking their live audio and then putting that into their song, like before the song is done. Sometimes, like that affects how people create their music. Um, a lot of times, like if my first take was really like swaggy, like if I like freestyled it and I'm really feeling it, I'm not gonna really do it better than that for a long time. So I'm just like, all right, I might as well just like put it out because it's like it's probably gonna take me years to like perform this in a way that's better than that one take. But it just depends. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. But you know when you have those takes where it's just like you were just in your bag and it was just like a moment. So I feel like I have a song called Fables that I feel like was like that. Like I just hit it all the way through and it was like it's featuring Chronics. If you for those of y'all who know reggae. But yeah, I feel like that song when I recorded that, it was like I just went all the way through and it was just there, you know. So some things are just like that.
I guess Monday, maybe this is a good time for you to cue up the Yazara joint. And
Yep, I just got it queued up.
perfect. Yazara, do you want to introduce us to your song, and then we can dive in a little bit on that?
Absolutely. You know, every couple of years, I always tell people that adult puberty happens in layers, and you find yourself finding yourself over and over again through these tracks. And so I did this record with Steve McKee, who is an incredible producer who's worked with Bilal Oliver. If you've ever heard of him, he's done a record, Airtight's Revenge. Um, oh goodness, Firstborn Second. We met on tour when I was singing background for Erykah Badu, and we just kind of became family. And so I went down to Philly. He let me listen to a couple of beats. He gave me this really amazing BCD from his A file, not from the B file. And you know, I took all these beats home. And you know, at the time, I was definitely still independent as I am now. And I heard this track. I heard a lot of the records on there, but when I heard this particular track, it just kind of spoke to me. Kind of like, you know how you hear a record and instantly a wellspring of experience kind of pops up and you can write to it. And so I initially actually recorded it and engineered it myself at home. And I just started working in my home studio. And to tell you how long ago it is, and to truly date myself, I was doing it on a program called Adobe Audition. And
Hey,
yes, Adobe Audition. And so I recorded this song in one take. Um, I sat down and it just kind of flew out of me. My pen moved without a stop and until I was done. And the vocals, when I record vocals, I tend to want people to feel like they're being hugged by it. It needs to feel therapeutic. So I won't talk too much about it. When I ended up getting ready to put the record out on Foreign Exchange Music, I did a collaboration with them. Nicolay did some drum programming and some extra synth sounds to it because the impossible or the tragic thing happened and somebody broke into Steve's studio and stole all of his equipment. One of the things actually had some of the original sounds and stems from Starship, and they were gone forever before they had a chance to be mixed. So Nicolay stepped in and saved the day, did some extra drum programming, which gave me an opportunity to have a whole other breath. I resung some of and then, you know, Starship was born. So without further ado, Starship. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be your hostess for today's flight. Please fasten your seatbelts. We should be landing promptly 790 years in outer space. Where I don't feel mistreated.
2, 1. See, I'm gone in my starship. I'm headed straight to the moon. I'm gone away in my starship. I'm headed in my starship. I'm going straight to the moon. I'm gone away in my starship. Found a place where the seagulls wanna fly. Found a place where there's more to life than stealing and getting and eating and fighting. Found a place where I can spread my arms as far as I can fly. Over the sky and the trees. I'm gonna go somewhere, yeah, where nobody knows my name. I'm gonna write down the past. See, I'm gonna change my name. And lay down my life. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, I'm gone in my starship. I'm headed straight to the moon. I'm gone away in my starship. I'm headed in my starship. I'm going straight to the moon. I'm gone away in my starship. See, I'm going in my starship. I'm going straight to the moon. I'm gone away in my starship. I'm headed in my starship. I'm going straight to the moon. I'm going away in my starship. To my starship. I'm headed straight to the moon. I'm going in my starship. I'm headed straight to the moon. I'm going away in my starship. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah. I'm headed in my starship. I'm headed straight to the moon. I'm going away in my starship.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You know what's I think
TJ, that
craziest
was
to me
my
now
fault.
is
Yazma, that
thinking
was
about.
beautiful. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Beautiful song.
Lovely. Amazing.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
So should we start with the first question? What's the microphone?
Yeah, I want to know the mic.
Actually, I was using a Newman, and I wish I could tell you exactly what number it was, but to tell you, it was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I really love the warmth of the Newman. I actually fell in love with those when I was recording on Mama's Gun. Badu used it a lot. Like we used it on Penitentiary Philosophy, Didn't You Know? Those records. I'm sorry, hold on a second, my son. Everything okay? You don't like the fall? Okay, I'll make you something else. Just give me a second. All right. Pardon me, gentlemen.
No worries.
So, you know, I think I always said I also had the benefit of being in these spaces where I kind of had a chance to watch other people experiment with things. And so I loved the Newman. I love the warmth of that. But I've also used CAD mics. So the very first recording of Starship was actually done on a CAD. And then the last recording of it that I did when we had to do everything over once the stems had been robbed and stolen, I did on the Newman with the foreign exchange. And you know, there wasn't a huge difference because then we ran everything through the Avalon, and I love the tube sound. It gives you a really vintage sound without overly compressing your voice, and especially with me being a soprano. Like if I have the wrong compression, I'll sound like a chipmunk. So it was great to have the warmth of live sound to come through that track for me.
I know on the like Avalon end and on the Tube end, something that Monday and I talked about a lot, especially when he was going through the process of selecting his personal microphone that he has like for himself that he records on, um, was what can we do to sort of replicate that, and like in a way that doesn't involve us buying an Avalon or trying to buy an Avalon knockoff and being really upset about it. And so um you know, Monday went with what do you have, the NT1A,
I got the NTK,
NTK,
the
and then you
Rode
swapped the
NTK.
tubes out.
Yeah, I swapped my tubes out and when I got the same problem that you were having, guys, but just wanting more warmth. It wasn't as warm as I would have liked it to be. But I found the tube to get that. But I have a question. You said you did that in one take, like that. Uh, how long did it take you to do the layering your backgrounds, which sound
Oh,
amazing, by the way.
thank you.
I'm huge on background vocals and even Alan's too on Dubai Way. I appreciate when people have thought out background vocals where it's not just the ad lib. Like I appreciate that. I heard that in both songs. Thank you.
Thank you. That's actually an excellent question. And to answer it fully, I came up in choirs and ensembles and had to learn how to match harmony and sing with other people. And I really think that that helps me in studio because I can lay down stacks quickly. And sometimes what my issue is like not laying down too much. Like I have one song where I had like 96 tracks worth of vocals. Like for a minute, they were calling me the purple track eater. And then, a thunderstorm came and knocked out all the vocals, and we lost like 86 of the 96 tracks worth of vocals. And the producer I was working with at the time started crying, like crying like a 5-year-old child because he just couldn't believe that we recorded all that stuff in a day and it was gone. It's one of the things I enjoy doing, and I think that also comes from my background in singing behind other artists. Like I had to catch on quickly, and so I hear harmony very well. That's one of the blessings that I've been gifted with. That I hear harmony very well, and it doesn't take me long to stack. Like I can write and reference sometimes 4 songs in a day when working with other people or alone. And I can definitely get into a studio and like kill backgrounds quick. Like if you give me 3 hours and you gave me the track, I'm gonna come in there in 2.5 and knock it out.
Is it a situation where you kind of stack as much as you feel like Archive stacked, maybe 10, 16 tracks, and then you strip it down? Or is it something where you approach it where it's like I'm just gonna go 3 part, I'm gonna go 4 part, and or is it you just kind of do both?
I attack it phrase by phrase. For me, putting backgrounds on a song is also about a part of telling the story and painting the picture. Because sometimes it's not just about me singing a part. Sometimes it needs a whisper track. Sometimes to articulate words that when one is singing aren't as easy to get those consonants and those vowels out. I gotta say them, and that requires an entire different type of interpretation. Sometimes it requires a different mic to do the whisper tracks, and definitely on Starship, there's some definite "I'm going on my Starship" happening in those tracks to make sure that the T's and the S's and the S are heard when I'm singing, because I have a tendency sometimes to swallow vowels. And so I will definitely take some time and go back. And then when it comes to backgrounds, sometimes I'll listen to it again. I take it back to the crib and I hear something else even more amazing that I really want to do. And so I do that. But the track that I did 96 tracks of vocals on is a song called Same Page, man. And there were just so many vocals. I don't even sing that song live. So I don't even record that way anymore. So I also record with the idea that I'll be singing those songs on stage. And when I did Starship, that was one of the first tunes where I was like, all right, somebody's got to sing this with me. And I want other people to be able to sing this with me, even in the audience. So how can I lay this in a deliberate way where I can tell the story and have people feel personally connected to these vocals because they can sing with them.
So I'm sorry. Is anybody else have any questions? Because I'll just keep asking
No, you
questions.
got it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So is how much is, and this isn't for Yazra as well, but for Alan and Maruf, how much is the performative aspect a part, like, or how conscious of it are you of it when you're recording? Like, I have to perform this. So does that dictate some things that you may or may not do in your approach?
Can you ask that question again?
Yeah. So um if you're going to perform this on stage, does that affect, like, if you know I'm going to perform this live, does that affect how you may approach a song, and what you may or may not do, or what you may or may not add? Like, what, like, oh, this may, like Yasmin said, this may be too much even to do live, so I don't even do that song live. Are y'all conscious of that when you go in, when you approach the song sometimes, if at all?
I am, because I definitely know like some tones are just harder to hear live. So it's like if I can do like a higher octave that sounds the same as it does on the song, and like hits the beat right, then I'll just do that. Like if I'm trying to choose between like my speaking voice right now and then maybe like a higher, a higher octave. Um, if I can do the higher octave, I'm probably gonna do that because um, live it just pierces the microphone in a different way. Um, but it depends on the beat too, because like I have a song called Vibes that I can do in just my voice right now, and it cuts through the microphone because of like the frequencies surrounding it, like the synths that surround my voice, like accentuate my voice, so I don't have to strain it at all. So it kind of just depends, but I definitely do think about that when I'm recording.
So
I would
Word, and
definitely.
I.
My fault. Says you can go, sis.
Oh no, I don't want to interrupt you, please, because I might say something that'll be redundant. So please, Mo, drop it.
Nah, I was just gonna piggyback off of bruh. Appreciate that again, sis. I was just gonna piggyback off of Alan. Like, in more recent times, I'm that much more selective of, beat selection or the song format, knowing that I want to perform this. Because I remember when I first started, mind you, I came up as a battle rapper, so for me it was just all bars. So, but I learned, like, you're not trying to get niggas 40 bars, then a hook. By the time you out of breath, you feel what I'm saying? You can have the best breath control. So I do try to create, if anything, space, so when I am performing, it's still like a vibe in a sense, but it's kind of giving me a second or two to recoup. Or what I love are drops. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's say if my verse is done, I'll add a little drop in between the verse and the hook, then I come back in. So I definitely have over time become that much more intentional, um, how I want to perform it.
I love drops too. I'm not even gonna front. They kind of get annoyed when I keep asking for drops, but it's something about, especially that little pocket before the hook comes, that insinuates the hook when that hook returns. I don't. It just is that, that little moment of silence before just adds that much more power when it hits. So I definitely empathize with adding drops. Yasra, please let us know what you want to say.
No, actually, I want to dovetail on that. Like, there's nothing like a drop, and there's sometimes having the right engineer and a patient engineer is key in being able to get the best out of your track. Like if I got somebody who has no patience, you can tell from the way the music is mixed. You can tell from the way I laid down the track. Or if it's a hobbyist who's engineering tonight, like, there's just stuff that's missing. And sometimes even when I'm recording a piece of music, like I need that reverb. I need the sound I'm gonna initially use for the mix and what I'm gonna want on stage. I always tell singers, and I would say that maybe this even applies to MCs as well. Like, know your favorite patches. Like, know the sounds you like to hear. Know the tweaks you want in your voice. Do you want low lows? Do you want high highs? Like, it will really simplify your time with an engineer if you know how you like to hear yourself. That has saved me a lot of trouble. And also, as a woman walking into a studio, expressing what I need can sometimes be more difficult because people assume when a woman says she doesn't like something that she doesn't like them. So, um, having the right engineer who has come there ready to work with you and doesn't have a whole lot of ego will save you not only, precious creative time, but also a whole bunch of money, because I hate being an experiment when I'm trying to make really great music, because then I start rushing when I should be striving to take my time and do something beautiful. And when you have a great engineer, you can get through that track quickly because that engineer understands what a cut and a paste is, or how to nudge something, because sometimes it's a matter of singing something on the backbeat opposed to singing everything on the one. Um, Sometimes I jump in from every part of the process to even sometimes how I want the drums to sound for me, or a certain synth that I need to present a specific feeling that I'm working with. We actually had that conversation on Starship. Like the initial drums that we used, we could no longer find the plugins for, and so we had to kind of rethink what story that the new drums were going to tell. And we had to go through a lot of different things to find them. If I had been working with anybody else other than Nicolay or Steven, I don't know if we would have been able to get them. And also now I travel with my stems as well, because I've also realized as time goes by, you can hire a band to learn your music, but it doesn't mean that they shed that joint before your show. And I don't believe in people robbing the church. So now I travel with my stems. I travel with my backgrounds. I always say to people, if it wasn't your studio, then travel with your hard drive, so that, you know, you are preparing for that day when you take that music out to other people and you have to share it with them. I also sometimes work with background singers, and that's a whole other thing. So having acapellas of the work that I'm doing is also extremely important. I would even say that for MCs, you got a hype man, you got somebody playing MPC, or, you know, scratching behind you. It's as important for them to know and to have those backgrounds to have your back, because you can literally injure your voice trying to do every single amazing thing you did on that track. So, you know, my mind now is on that. Like, you know, 20 years ago when I did my first record, I wanted to, you know, bring a marching band on stage and sing, you know, every choir note I had, and I almost lost my voice. I got a polyp and a cyst on my vocal cords on a tour because it was just too much work on my voice. So, you know, it's super important to be mindful about what you're putting behind you on that track.
I love everything you said. Um, with this song, Yazra, how much well, actually, never mind. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause. We got some other people on stage. Dom, you up here? You got any questions? Any comments?
Man, I appreciate you for having me on stage. Yazra, I've been a fan of yours for at the least 15 years, maybe even more.
Oh,
And
wow.
and hearing this record is it sounds incredible. And I kind of wanted to ask, like, with, and you kind of like alluded to earlier when you were talking about like when you released like your actual like first album, and more recently releasing like your last one. And obviously like doing jumping into the NFT space and stuff like that. How was the process with like even selecting like for like the album, selecting like what songs you were gonna put on that album? Because I mean I would assume like over the last like 10 years or so, like you have had quite a bit of songs to like select. Like how was that process of actually selecting what songs we're gonna go on that album, and then at this point now, like what songs are going to be the ones that you're kind of like rolling out as like the first NFTs and stuff?
It's so interesting that you would ask me that question, because between, you know, my first record, Hear Me, to Black Star, which was a label album, which was a nightmare because other people were telling me who to be with music, and it was a affirmation that I should never sign to a label again unless I can be fully free. To Black Star, I mean, to The Ballad of Purple St. James, which was a record I made after leaving that label and having writer's block for like nearly 2.5 years. The name Purple St. James was actually invented to clean up my writer's block. I started writing under that freedom. And I've always really been influenced by people like James Brown, Sly Stone, Tina Turner, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Stevie Wonder, but nobody wanted to hear a black girl singing music that was inspired by those people. So and with me being with Erica Badu, there was always this very specific pressure to sing very soulful neo soul music. So the Ballad of Purple St. James is kind of like where I started to set my bar for the type of music I wanted to hear. You know, I was saying to somebody today, so, you know, I'm kind of a child of the electronic sound of the 80s, but also, you know, I'm still a baby of the 70s soul music as well, and a little bit of rock and roll. And so when we did the Ballad of Purple St. James, was a great opportunity. We did songs like Why Don't You Call Me, songs like Starship that kind of set the bar. The Lie, which was an electronic record as well, was more like a dance record that kind of helped set the bar for what I was going to do with The Ceremony. And The Ceremony was more of a record where I had to kind of like live with it. But I've always been really blessed that people have created music for me or with me. I've always produced along with the producers that I've worked with. Sometimes I didn't get credit for that, but I can play. I can get behind a drum set, and I can play the drums if I need to. I can play keys some. And so I've always worked as a co-producer on most of the work that I've done. And the closest thing most recently where I've really had a chance to like be there from like the drum patch to the last synth was on the ceremony with the producer named Raymond Angry, who's produced for Solange, for Joss Stone, and as an independent, it was really a blessing that he didn't charge me a dime. He just believed in my voice and wanted me to write a good record. And so he actually wrote the great bulk of the album. I would walk into the studio with him and he would just like ask me what I wanted to do that day and what I wanted to say. And, I had a unique opportunity in that I worked with a musician who wasn't just a sample artist, but samples also are an art form. Ninth Wonder always says, I could give you Fruity Loops, but it won't make you a musician. It won't make you a producer just because you got Fruity Loops. You got to have the ear and you have to have the talent. So, there's songs that were played before bands. There's songs that were played by sample artists, sample musicians. There were songs that we did from scratch where, I said, I want to hear a vocoder here, or I really want more boom in that 808. And I think for that freedom of being able to literally like give birth to songs is what people hear now. And it's definitely refreshing because, sometimes when other people are guiding your perspective, but not working with you and guiding it, you kind of feel like you're trapped. But these last two records, and specifically this last one, I felt the most freedom creatively that I've ever had. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, for sure. I mean, honestly, even something you even talked about with the Ballad of like Purple St. James, like, do you feel because I have an opinion about this, but do you feel like even like some of the records and like you said before, like sound wise, what you were going for that album, um, do you feel like stuff that you did back then? I even think about like people like Jack Davy, Jay Davy. Do you feel like a lot of that stuff back then was like almost like ahead of its time, and where like you are able to like even like do this stuff like now, and it still sounds like relatively new? Like the industry at the time wasn't really like ready for that type of sound.
Oh, absolutely. They were not interested in creativity at all. I mean, that's why Web3 is so incredible. And for a moment, Web2 was until they realized that if they said somebody was independent, they could inundate and then like flood that market until it was no longer authentic. That's why I released Starship as my first record. I always had heavy regrets in 2010 that I didn't drop Starship as my single. We went with Why Didn't You Call Me, which was more rock influence, but definitely to me, not the stronger single. And because Web3 is not just simply about the music, but actually about the message and the human being in many spaces, and you can kind of carve out your tribe. I wanted to go back. I wanted to reach back and get this song that was far ahead of its time. Like, if I don't perform this song in a show, people get angry at me. And I felt like it was really important to give that out to the world again. And to hear you guys say that you accept it is low key vindication because I really fought for that song and lost. And to have people say, this is a beautiful song, this song does this for me. To even have a known racist try to like go hard and buy my shit because whether he was either being a microaggressive human or was actually moved by the music, he wanted it. And that's really what it's all about: finding a space, hoping that what you do is transformative and timeless. And there are other songs that I have that are unreleased. There's a project I'm working on right now with my partner, who is an incredible producer, called MI7, and it's called My Infinite Heaven. And basically, he and I have recorded songs all over the globe for the last 4 years from bed. So, one of the songs on the ceremony, "Backseat of My Star," was recorded in bed. Like he did the beat, he woke me up, I heard it, it was fire. I sung the whole record from bed. And in fact, through a set of iPhone earphones, and the take was fire, which is why it's like, we want cab mics, we want Newmans, we see all these other things, but sometimes the fire comes to the most unexpected spaces. So I'm really excited about this time that we have where people don't have to have that perfect mixed piece of music to put out an NFT. It just has to create a feeling, as to spark nostalgia or make you feel something, and you will want to collect it because you want to see that person succeed and get to the place where they can make something or just be heard. So yeah, Web3 is really informing my freedom now.
And uh, do you feel like a lot of that stuff, like with the most recent stuff, um, was well, you said like 4 years, but did that process really even increase, obviously, like once like the pandemic like first like hit, and I'm sure like a lot of it was like at home like recording, like I guess like at this point right now, what's your normal like recording process? Is it at the crib?
Sometimes it's at the crib. I just finally really started getting equipment to be able to record at home. Um, I've been really blessed to be able to call upon my friends and be like, hey, can I come through and record this track real quick? I've always loved collaborating, and I've never been a person that's been like, yo, I always have to have my fee to do it. I like to be a part of teams and pour into projects. So when I'm doing one, I never had a shortage of people to say, yes, just come through if you need to use the studio for a few hours. And even now, some of the work that I'm doing in NFTs is actually going to fund myself being able to put it together a studio where I can do what Prince used to do in Paisley Park, which is like if he just loved your music, he just let you record there. And that influences what I do. And I got a teeny Prince story about that too. So I was singing background for Erica trillion years ago. I was 21 years old, and she sung at Prince's birthday party in Paisley Park. And it was crazy to be there and see like regular everyday people, some people whose talent he just really loved, performing, recording in his multiple studios in Paisley, just for the sake, because he loved them. They didn't have to have a name. They just had to have a talent, and they could use his space if he was moved by it. And I always, it sparked something in me to want to be able to move in a space. Money is options and opportunities. And I think this NFT space is going to give a lot of altruistic human beings the opportunity to pay it forward in the way they've always wanted to. Look at Latasha, look at Iman, look at Black Dave, look at Visionaire, look at Moruf. There's so many people who we can speak to as being really great examples of this type of sharing of space and what it can do. And I think that's what makes Web3 magical. I get to finally evolve my greatest dream of actually helping other artists that I love in the way other artists have always helped me. I didn't have to pay a dime for the ceremony to be made. Raheem Devon, who's one of my friends, said, hey, why are you wasting time not dropping this record, and paid for all my mixing and mastering costs. And that's why you have the ceremony. Like, that's what this shit is all about, helping one another get our dreams out.
I don't even like. I got so many more questions, but I don't want to even want to take up like too much of the space. But yeah, nah, like your story is incredible.
Thank you.
It's really just been inspiring to see so many like artists who've been doing it for like years, whether like everybody like on the stage now is has been doing music for like a while, and like a lot of people. I mean, we ain't like new to this, and I feel like with the Web3, it's like, well, I was telling one of my homies recently, I was like, yo, this is like, it feels like the first time where like all of our hard work that we might have not seen like over the years, like we are finally able to not only creatively be able to kind of see that, but then also to like finally get like the funds from like all the years that we like put in,
Word
and
up.
all the money that we truly deserve from it. Like obviously it's not just about the money, but it's more or less about like the fact of like, yo, we have creative freedom, being able to build community and being able to like really be ourselves and to actually have people appreciate it and be able to be compensated the way everybody should. So
Maroof, you got it.
Peace. I actually gotta run. Unfortunately, I have a spaces. I'm interviewing a bro Mellow X at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tap in if you guys are free. But yo, Black Dave, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for, creating this room, allowing myself, Alan, Yaz, a real Monday to speak. And this is what it's all about, because it is dope to have space speaking about I gotta drop and shit like that, but it's also dope to speak about the creation of it, the technicalities about it, the you get me, like how did you think of that idea or the inflection, like just a little specific. So appreciate you again for extending the invite, and much love.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
bro.
Like
Thank you. Love.
I like that was literally the whole thing when we talked about like doing this room, was just like, let's move away from the tech, let's move away from people telling us about their projects, and let's move into the music. And so I appreciate you like showing up and recognizing that. Alan, what you got for us?
Oh no, I was just wanted to add on to Yazra's Prince's story. Like just being from Minnesota, the impact that he's had here is crazy because growing up, I remember when I went to play Paisley Park because he would just hire like um, just like kids in the city, right? And he would just tell them, "Hey, I need some extras for a video shoot. So just get like the coolest kids in the city, like literally, like that was his word, and like just get whoever's cool in the city to come out and be in the video." And yeah, it was crazy just to see that because we don't really have like an entertainment industry out here. It was just like Prince, right? And then after Prince, there was really nobody else relevant that came out besides me. So it was like to see that as my first example of like, damn, like doing it all on your own, right? And just having your own compound and being rooted and saying, I'm gonna make people come to me. Like that was my first example of seeing something in real life that was like, damn, and it was at Paisley Park. So I just wanted to add to that. And he opened his arms up to like the whole community, right? Like he opened his arms up to once he could, like once he had an overflowing cup, he just let it flow and just like, pretty much looked out, had like parties, you'd have private parties sometimes there. And then after like the video shoot, he did a private show for us. It was probably like 50 kids. And we was all, I think I was like 15 at the time. And we were all like just in like a small room, like the size of like a living room, and he played guitar right in front of us and then just like dipped out. It was like the craziest thing. But yeah, that was like I said, that was like the first celebrity I ever seen. Now that I actually think about it, that's the first like artist musician like that's like big that I ever seen, and that was like my first experience. So yeah, that was wild. And Lizzo was there too. Lizzo's from Minnesota actually. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, he was so magical. I would imagine right now he would be so excited about NFTs because he was really about inspiring artists to be free thinkers and free people. And I wouldn't even know. I probably would have burst into sprinkles, Alan, at the age of 15, being in front of him. This dude would have Bible study and let you sit there while he was reading from like the Kingdom Hall Bible in Paisley Park. And I think it's just a great example of like if I light your candle, my candle doesn't go out. And that's again like when I want to throw some flowers at Black Dave. Like he lit my candle 2 days ago, and that is the spirit of what we do here. That sparks creativity because free people make free music.
Uh, I think we got Karma Head coming up. Karma Head, what's up? I know you probably
Hey,
got rug before. What's
hi.
up?
Thank you so much for having me. I just joined the space because I'm also a musician. I have an analog rock album coming out. And I thought the conversation was interesting, but I'm new to spaces. Like I've been doing it for less than a week, and sometimes when you get I don't know if anybody else has this issue, but like sometimes when you get invited up to talk, you're there and it's like you get muted automatically. Like so, I was like, so I had to X out of it and like come back in. But I just saw people are like operating in the Web3 space, and I have an analog rock album that's going to be released as an audio visual NFT. But besides that, I'm looking to kind of have pair up with people who are running metaverse galleries. If they need any free music and stuff like that, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, so I just wanted to throw it up there. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Please tell me off if I'm not allowed to. But yeah, my name's Punky Funk, and thanks for having me. I'll chime in and listen to what everybody else has got to say as well. Thank you.
No worries. If anybody here has any plots of land, I do not qualify. Y'all heard it here. Punky Funk's looking to get some records placed. I think you're this isn't like the come up and talk about what you're doing spot, but I'm not about to turn you down. So yeah, we're just talking about we've just been playing some music and having the artists talk about it. I mean, I feel like we're like actually near the end. I don't know what you got Monday, but
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think we good. I think we really I really want to do these rooms just because I kind of the way that music is being distributed in Web3, with it being more freedom to the artist. I personally see myself becoming a fan of songs in particular. As much as I become a fan of the person that made it, and with me, when I become a fan of a song, I like to know the whole story of how it was made and where the artist was. Now that in Web3 we have access to kind of have those conversations, and it kind of creates a deeper relationship with the song. So like with Alan and Maroof and Luca, it's like, all right, well, they're about to drop a video, and I would, be interested to know, oh, what would the visual look like for this? Because I know how they created it, and I like the music, and I like the sound. The same thing for Yazra. It's like, okay, I like this song when I initially heard it, and I wonder like, well, how did she go about creating it? How she go about those laying those vocals? So to be able to talk to the artist is just something to me that kind of builds a better relationship with the work. And I appreciate you guys for coming tremendously. Yeah, every Sunday we're going to be here 5 p.m. and we're going to have various artists just talking about Web3 music. And yeah, I'm complete. I appreciate you guys again. Thank you all for coming. Dave, anything else you want to say? Alan or Yazra, the floor is yours.
I think Yazra has her hand up, but I just brought Sun Sun on stage too. So I figured I would let Sun Sun go and then let Yazra take us out, if that's cool.
Let's do it.
Oh, what up? Thanks so much. Hi, how's it going, everybody? I just had a quick question about music NFTs. I'm a music producer and visual artist and animator, and I was thinking about releasing an album of NFT beats and stuff. And I just want to know if I own all the master rights, and I want to know if my publisher is supposed to get a cut of that, like like a sync or something. But I'm not sure because when I started the NFTs, I had already signed with a publisher, and that wasn't like written in it. So I just want to know if anyone has an answer to that. Thanks so much for putting me out.
This so I don't I don't think that there's a definitive answer to this, but what I've been hearing is that publishers are trying to consider NFTs syncs, which I don't fully agree with. Um, if you're in a pre-existing scenario, I feel like you might need to talk about it in case you run into something bad. But I do know I have heard from a handful of people that publishers are trying to consider NFTs as sync. It doesn't make any sense to me personally. It could make sense, but it doesn't make sense to me personally. So the Dave answer is it's not, but the protect your neck answer is you should probably have a conversation with them.
So
sorry.
I'm sorry, real quick, Sensen. I would actually, if I could, say bring Tika up here because Tika works for the label and most recently did her video for Sideways, and I know she has some experience, and this is now her wheelhouse. So maybe she could talk a little bit about her experience. I know this is not the room for it, and we're almost done, but like I know that she experienced this, and it would be great to have her be able to shed some light on that if it's okay.
Tika, what's up?
Can I just say it's not for a video NFT? So just like if I were to put it up on Catalog Works, so it's just the audio. So like I understand with the video too. We just want to know.
Hey y'all, I'm signed to an indie label, so I wanted to speak to this because I feel like it can give some insight and foresight. I had to talk to my label about this, and they were trying to get 50% of whatever NFT I sold, which I was like, oh hell to the nah. So I think it's a conversation. Most labels don't really know how to navigate NFTs at all, so they just look at it as like, you're getting money, I want to get money too. And I feel like it's an opportunity for you to negotiate your terms and conditions based on what you feel is feasible for you. So I say all that to say, I think we're in a pretty great position in terms of leverage. And whatever money that you get, I feel like what you need to pay for realistically is your taxes. But in terms of your publisher, um, I have heard that people are looking at it as if it's sync, but that's a conversation that you have with them, and everything is open to negotiation. So I would say try to negotiate with your publisher in a way that's as low as possible. Like try to get the most bang for your buck, basically, like out of this situation. And yeah, like one of the things I told my label is I was like, I'm a Black woman, so 50% is not going to work for me. And they were okay with that. But I think that I think it's just a conversation that you have to have. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it helps. I just like I'm non-confrontational person and stuff, and I do have to have a conversation with my publisher. But I just wanted to know if anyone knew like for sure legally what like before I were to talk to them about it. But I do appreciate your advice and everything everybody said. Thank you so much.
This is
I,
that. All you go ahead.
I always say if you have a concern about whether something is legal and you're dealing with your label, holler at them. Save yourself a cease and desist letter and something messing with your future when you could actually not only parlay that into the right percentage that you desire, but also possibly like a liaison job, helping them figure out what NFTs look like in a fair and equitable solution, dealing with their artists with it. Like there's so many ways that you can broker that for you into a job, into a opportunity, to another percentage you're getting now from your label for knowing what they don't know. Like it's a great opportunity, Sunset. And I also hate confrontation. I'm a Cancer. We don't really like facing things like that. But I promise you, if you do it on the ground floor instead of the penthouse level where somebody can sue you and then mess with your rep, you'll be so much happier that you did.
100, 100, 100, 100. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely like there are so few answers when it comes to dealing with labels and publishers and stuff like that. My least favorite phrase in the NFT space is "we're so early," but in that regard, we're even earlier than like what everybody's talking about. So you just gotta have that tough convo, but that's how you get to the money. So
Yeah, and also because you guys are signed to Priestess, and you're the first ones that I've noticed from that space in this space. What Yazara is saying is pretty viable. You could finesse this into some sort of a job or a position where you're onboarding other artists from Priestess into the NFT space and showing them and taking a cut and doing operating from that positionality. But um yeah, just look at it as an opportunity and nothing to fear. Like it's just it's kind of hard to have the initial conversation, but once you bypass that bullshit, you'll be in the sauce. Ultimately, everyone just wants to be involved. That's what I've realized, is that it's not really about the money, it's more so that they just want to know what's going on.
fantastic. Yazara, you had your hand up. You wanna take us out?
Sure. I just want to thank you, Monday, Black Dave, Alan, everybody here for being involved in this really amazing conversation. I don't think we have ever been in such an amazing. I think there have been lots of pivotal times in history where artists have had a chance to redefine what success looks like and what creativity looks like. And we are here, and the time is now. And I'm just grateful to be a part of history and on the right side of that history with all of you. And I hope that you all have an amazing and creative week.
Thank you so much. I guess, all I want to say is thank you guys for showing up. This has been one of my favorite music rooms, like sort of in the NFT space since, getting into it. I Everyone, comes to me and asks me a fuckload of questions, and I'm just glad that I got to ask some questions this time and got to ask questions about something that I like a lot, which is just music and not so much like tech and NFT stuff. So, once again, thank you. I think Monday and I are going to try to do these every Sunday. So,
Yeah.
please continue to show up and tell your friends about it. And, there's, and for anybody asking or anybody wondering, there's no like submission. There's no like, can I hit up so and so? Like we literally are just doing whatever we want, respectfully. so, so yeah, just that's it for me. Thank you guys, and whatever you got, Matt.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just listen to a lot of the music on Web3, and so if I like it, I just we'll reach out and let's talk about it. So, but thank you, Alan. Thank you, Azra, again. Thank you, everyone who showed up. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Be
bro.
safe.
Thank you, Yazra. Thank you, Tika, Highly. Everybody up here. Much love.
Yes. Later, guys.